at Arms, Dr. Sunny Fridge.
Looks like my computer is not working. Let's try this one more time.
Sunny, we can hear you.
We're
You
okay
can
with
see
low
me?
tech version.
Okay. For some reason, my computer's not working, but I will pull up my information. Just give me one quick second. Thank you, everybody. I hope you're all doing good today. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, welcome to the meeting of online presenters. This is a virtual Toastmasters Club, and I'm Sergeant at Arms Sunny Fridge. Guests, please note that to be a member of our club, you must be a current or former active member of Toastmasters International and have completed at least 6 Toastmaster official speeches. However, if you have substantial, relevant experience in presentation, we welcome you to apply for membership after demonstrating your abilities in a 2 to 3 minute speech delivered during one of our club meetings. All requests for membership are subject to approval by our club members. If you have not already done so, please change your panel to ensure it displays your name and role. Now, hover over your video, right-click, and select Rename. And remember to mute your microphone when you're not speaking. We have members and guests from many countries throughout the world. As a professional organization, we ask that you please be aware of language or word usage that may be considered offensive or otherwise insensitive due to cultural differences. Please note that we will be recording the meeting. Your video and audio contribution may be used for club marketing purposes. And happy Martin Luther King Day to those who are celebrating. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." So friends, let us all continue to keep moving forward. So as Andy Burns said, we can thrive in 2025. And now, please help me welcome to the virtual stage our club president, Marianne Grady. Welcome, Marianne.
Well, thank you. I love that quote. I've been looking at a whole bunch of them today, so that was terrific. I am not only just opening the meeting, but I'll be your Toastmaster tonight. So I'm kind of like the MC of the meeting. So good evening, everyone. We are very happy that you're here at Online Presenters with us. Online Presenters is a club whose purpose is to give online presentation, or we serve those who give online presentations professionally or aspire to do so. And whether that means public webcasts, live video, internal company video conferences, or screen sharing sessions, we're the place to be. Here in the United States, as we've said, it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And I wanted to share one of his quotes with you. "If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way." Now, I think that's a great way to look at the world because we all can do a little something. So give it a little thought and see what comes up. Now, tonight's meeting is not typical. It's our monthly educational session. And so the usual table topics and evaluations and a lot of the reports that we usually do will not be present tonight. However, we do have our timer, David Carr. David, can you tell us about your contributions for this evening?
I will, by various technological means, show signs at green means you have reached the minimum for your segment, whatever it might be, ranging from our featured presentation tonight to maybe some table topics later on. For table topics, which is impromptu speaking practice, we look for green at 1, yellow at 1:30, red at 2, and that's when you need to be wrapping up. 30-minute grace, 30-second grace period. Might need a 30-minute grace period for me sometimes, but 30-second grace period before you are disqualified for being long-winded, Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, well, thank you, David. And now the only other reporter we're going to have tonight is Andrei Smolenko. He's going to be functioning as our chat monitor. So Andrei, tell us about your responsibilities for this evening.
With pleasure, Marianne. My responsibilities are simple and complicated at the same time. Simple because my role is to monitor the chat. So I will encourage you to use the chat box actively. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, hopefully related to what our presenter today is going to do. I will report back to you with some interesting material perhaps at the end of the meeting. But the complicated bit is, I can't wait. I want to hear Nik speak. So, back to you, Marianne.
Me too. It's been a while. And for those of you who don't know Nik, you picked a fantastic night to join us. Nik is a two-time DTM. He's been a Toastmaster of the Year in District 71, and he's served as president of 2 clubs. And one of them, he's a past president of our club. Now, his session tonight is called Master Community Building, Create Impact in 60 Minutes. In this presentation, Nik will help us discover how to build a thriving, expert-led online community in just 1 hour. In this engaging and practical workshop, you'll learn how to define your community's purpose, create impactful member experiences, and use top tools like, gotta read this one, Kajabi, Circle, and School to foster connection and growth. Please welcome the very dynamic Nik Lakhani.
Thank you so much, Madam President, Marianne. And it's great to see everybody here, Jim and Andrew and Andre and Graham and Asil and Joni and David and Dr. Sunny and everybody else. So happy to be here today. And thank you for the invitation. It's great to be able to meet up with friends. And if I had a dream, I'll want to actually go and meet up, not only virtually, but in reality, in real life, with all of my friends all around the world. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invite, as I said. And today, we're going to do a number of different things. And ultimately, what I normally do is I normally talk about digital marketing and talk about communities and courses, and that's really my speciality these days. And in order to make it even more relevant to you, is I want to actually talk a little bit about the idea of community and memberships in online presenters and other Toastmaster clubs as well. Is that okay with everybody? But do me a favor, give me a 1 in the chat if that's okay with you. Type in 1 in the chat so I know everybody's awake. Okay. Brilliant, brilliant. So I can see lots of things on there. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do is, forgive me if I go left and if I go right like this. I've got 3 screens over here doing different things, and so I don't want you to feel as though I'm taking my eye contact away from you, but I will do. It's the way it works. But also the other thing is, Marianne and the others will tell you I'm very direct. Okay, I'm very direct. So therefore, if I say something that is, I don't mean it. Honestly, I don't want to trigger you, but it may happen. So just be careful. Be ready for it. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to talk about communities and so on. And one of the things I will want to do is to actually share a PDF with you. And this particular PDF I'm going to put into the chat right now. And hopefully you'll be able to get it. And I'm going to refer to it as well. And those of you who learn by reading or looking at text, feel free to open it up now. It's okay, right? Some of you learn by listening, some of you learn by watching, some of you learn by doing, and some of you learn by reading. It's fine. It's all good. And what I want to do is I want to ask you a few questions at the beginning. All right. So over here, I'm going to actually go and go to my screen. Can you see the screen? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, fantastic. Is it readable? Do I need to zoom in a bit? Is it readable? No? Is that better?
That works
Yeah.
for me.
I'm sorry?
I was just saying that works for me.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Graham. Thank you. Master community building, create impact in 60 minutes. Well, normally this is a 2-hour session I run, but I've cut it down to about 45 minutes. So there will be stuff in here in this pack that I'm not going to really talk about too much, okay? But I included it in the pack as well. Now, if you go to page number 3, I believe it is, or number 4. Sorry, number 2, yeah. Be present. That's the main thing. It's about life, isn't it? You've got to be present. Now, number 3, 10 thoughts for online presenters. So these are questions I want to ask you. Okay, and by the way, best way to view my screen is in speaker view, all right? Now, I'm not going to read word for word all of these points. I'm just going to ask you the questions. What's more important, the features of technology available to us or how we use it? Feel free to put answers into the chat as well. It'll be great to get your feedback. Okay. In my personal opinion, those of you know me know that I thrive on connection, connecting with people. That's my superpower, isn't it? And I want you to think about this. We don't go and create buildings. We don't talk to buildings. We talk to people in buildings. When we use technology, we don't talk to the technology, although there are some apps out there now that we kind of do. But we usually, like this, we talk to people. We connect with people, don't we? And so I want you to think about the ways in which you connect with people and how you think you're going to attract them to your club, whether it be OP or any other club that you belong to. Just think about that. And also the other thing is, everything I say today is also, and this is what I normally speak about, is helpful for small businesses. That's really what I do. I want to help small businesses, but it works both ways as well. Would you like a smartphone or a dumb phone? Type it in. Type it into the chat. Come on, type it in. Smartphone or dumb phone? For me, I like to start off with a dumb phone, and I'm going to give you an example of technology which is a bit more, simpler. Okay, in a minute. So that's what I like to use. If there's one thing I want you to take away today about building memberships or building your community, building your club, your onboarding process, usually in most communities, is directly related to the quality of your onboarding process. Okay. Now, if I actually just take a pause there, some of you may remember I joined Online Presenters in around about 2017 or 2018, I believe it was. And this was my first advanced club. And I joined 2 or 3 online clubs at the same time. And in those days, we had 50+ members. The speech slots were really hard to get. And I kind of joined and I was like, oh, now what? And I sat there for 2 weeks and there was nothing. And then I realized this is an advanced club. Get yourself sorted, jump in, dive in, get involved, and request your speech slots. Okay. Now, I know that, for example, when David and Lou were vice president of membership and so on, there's all sorts of processes in place, and there was some good things going on in there. All right. So the simple fact is that onboarding processes in any organization are so important. Big takeaway there for you. Okay. Now, in terms of Facebook, how many of you go to Facebook and then go down a rabbit hole? You find videos of cats doing cool stuff. Yeah, hands up. I want to see. I want to see some hands up. Yeah. I see a few. I saw you chat monitor and Andre. Yes, absolutely. This is why. Well, really, it's the personal data, which I have an issue with, but also the distractions. That's why I normally recommend School, Kajabi, and Circle. And I'm going to talk about them briefly as we go along. Online presenters, what type of community do you want? What type of culture? What do you want members to take away? If you know that, then you've got a chance to do something about it. Okay? It seems pretty straightforward, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. How hands-on are you and your community managers, i.e., your VP of membership team, right? How hands-on are you? I remember when I was an officer and a president and also as a member, lots of things were going on and lots of communications were sent out. How hands-on are you? That's a good question to ask yourself in any organization again. What's your ideal member avatar? What's your experience and the journey that you want for your members once they join? Do you have a marketing plan and do you use AI tools, right? So lots of questions in there, right? Now, one of the things that I do is, as I said, I get people together. I think that's really my superpower, as I said, in terms of connection and so on. And one of the things I wanted to show you on here is a few things like, for example, some of the networking online, but also offline as well. Some of the networking groups I created or some of the conferences that I put together as well back in the day. So it's really important to connect with people. It's not just about the tech or about, about processes. It's about people. If you can get into their minds, like, for example, today, I thought about you as members of online presenters and visitors, and what's important to you? Well, I've got a presentation I wanted to give, but that's not as important to you as talking about how the subject impacts upon you and your club and your other clubs that you belong to. Therefore, I took that into account and have given you a particular customized workshop here today. I hope that's okay with you. All right. Now, the other thing is that, I've got links to testimonials or whatever, lots of video testimonials or written testimonials and so on. And those of you who, friends of mine who know me, and some of you are in the room today, if you want to give me a video testimonial, I'll be very happy to take it from you and put you on the wall of love. How about that? Okay, fantastic. Now, one of the things that we want to do is talk about, for example, the idea of expert-led communities. Now, I'm not going to read, as I said, I'm not going to read all of this here. It's expert-led communities as opposed to member-led communities. All right. So, for example, the idea, and what I'm trying to get at over here is you in online presenters and other Toastmaster clubs are not a simple run-of-the-mill social club where people come in, they make themselves a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, grab a soft drink, grab a biscuit, and then sit around and chat. That's not the kind of group that we are we? What we do is we want to go along the lines of an expert-led group, and but you're all the experts. All the members are the experts, right? Or want to be the experts. So therefore, we encourage everybody to take a turn and give a speech and take a role and all that kind of thing. So there's structure in there, isn't there? For example, if you have a park, you hardly ever see the park keepers or people who come and mend the seesaw or the swings or the slides. You're just left alone. Do your own thing, and if you don't want to talk to anybody, you don't have to. Whereas if you join a gym, you don't have to talk to anybody, but there's more structure in there, and people are available, and you normally invest in your transformation. Okay, and transformation is a good word, and I'll get to that in a minute. So it's about transformation. Your club, your business, whatever it is, it transforms the experience, or gives somebody a transformational experience in terms of education, in terms of training, in terms of skills, or in terms of empowerment, and so on. Okay. Now, one of the things about this, and the summary on here, which I've got, is: do you run your club like a cooperative? Nobody's really in charge, but everybody kind of is. Or do you have leaders who have vision and inspire officers and who inspire officers and members to motivate themselves? Put your answers in the chat. Are you a cooperative, or do you have leaders? Put it in. I want to see what you come in. I want to see. Come on. I want your input into this, because the next bit depends on what you answer. Okay. Just while you're actually giving me the answers, one of the things that I loved was in this club as being president, is that there was a weight of responsibility, huge numbers, but also we had to serve all the members. My job was to go and serve the committee or the board for them to be able to do their jobs. All right. And one of the things about this is we had vision. We had leaders with vision, and one of the things that we did was create the VTM CON and the ENF CON. And one of the things about that was that we got people from this club, and we got people from 5 other clubs together, and created an event which ran for over 12 hours, with up to 1,000 people attending over those 12 hours, with 100 people, 100 Toastmasters behind the scenes, working and managing and working with each other, and it was fabulous. Right. And we did it again in 21, 22 as well. And, people in here I can see were very much a part of that. And what a fabulous time. And what we did was we had vision, we had plans, we worked together, we practiced a lot of things that a good business does. And that's one of the things that I wanted, was to give people practice to do certain things, especially in those days, because we were all locked down with COVID, weren't we? Now, the good news is a lot of people I worked with during that time went away and managed to either get promotions or new jobs and so on, with some of the skills, especially the running the Zoom and things like that, but the managing and the creating events and this kind of thing. They managed to actually go and improve their professional life with the experience that we had. And I hope that it impacted those of you who attended there, or even worked behind the scenes over there. So that's fabulous. So let's see what we have. We have leaders, we have leaders, we have leaders, we have leaders. We can always do better. That's David. We have leaders and teamwork. Teamwork's made the dream. Yeah, just Dr. Sunny. Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. Fabulous. Yes, we have leaders. And this is one of the places where we practice it, isn't it? And that's a good thing. And that's a fabulous thing. And that's one of the answers to one of the questions before. What do you want the journey to be like for members, right? And so I want you to think about that in there as well, okay? One of the key things about the communities, in this community, or in this club, what you're doing is we're learning skills and practicing skills. We've got the ability to network with other people because it's global. We've got members from all over the world, right? There's a number of really fantastic things in there, but you have to also go and ask yourself, what is it that we want? Don't just go and say, I mean, for example, with leadership, one of the stories I tell about leadership is when I first became a member of Toastmasters in 2016, and I asked people about all of this stuff, and what's an area director, and what's this role, and area directors, and what division directors as well, and in my club, they had a very particular way of doing things. Now, it was a fantastic club, really lively, really energetic, met once a week, and that's what I really wanted, to turn up once a week. And they also had a slightly different way of approaching leadership, which was just do what the previous person did the year before, change the date, and job's done. And I'm like, really? Now, I've worked in the corporate field in IT and so on, and for me, running £1 million consulting practice in the IT industry, that wasn't good enough for me. And so, whatever I did, I pushed the boundaries out of my club, and I went and visited other clubs, and then I learned what the other roles are, and I became president and things like that, and also then I became area director. And one of the keys was I looked at what was done before, but then I looked at what my goal was. What am I trying to achieve? And I tried to give people an opportunity to go, or the clubs an opportunity as an area director, to go and come to me, ask me for help, offer help, and engage with them. But if somebody's not willing to engage, I can't do anything about that. But I tried to give an environment where they had the ability to do it if they wanted to. Okay? Therefore, my idea of leadership is about taking it seriously and giving opportunities and always being there and not judging them, because everybody's busy. Yeah, we get that. Everybody's busy. But when you do need help, it's okay. You got my number. Okay? So that's one of the key things that I learned from that basis, because as people said to me, says, well, this is not a paid employment. This is a voluntary club. And I would turn around and say, yes, but you gave your word that you would do this particular role, this particular job, the VPE role or the VPPR role or whatever role it is, or, on the committee or on the board. And I think that's important because you give your word. But I think I probably have higher standards than generally that people have. But that's fine. That's okay. That's just me. Now, one of the things that we talked about was transformation, wasn't it? So I'm going to share my screen again with you. And here, this is like a structure of your club. So, for example, forget the Toastmasters club for the moment, but imagine you're opening up a new business or in a community. Then these are some of the things that you want to think about, which is what sort of model do you have? Do you whatever you're looking at in terms of creating a club or a community, you probably want to be somewhere where you want to transform yourself and the members within that organization. It could be to improve your life, learn a skill, build a career. Now, for Toastmasters, we know it's usually to learn a skill, right? And sometimes the other two come into play as well, which is fantastic. And make sure you define your goals. And one of the ways in which you can do that is to create a transformational statement. And here's an example that I have over here, and I put it into the pack as well for you. And so this is my new something new that I'm starting up shortly. And so digital communicators empower solopreneurs to leap from, right? So where are you coming from? Struggling technophobe to confident user of digital tools and strategies. So I'm doing the to and from. And then why is it important? So what are the results and why is it important? It's the ensuring their online business success. That's the benefit. And then one of the things they get is personalized support, expert guidance, and community engagement. You could probably copy that and actually use it for something that you're involved with, possibly Toastmasters or something else. That's fine. And that structure is in this PDF here, which is something along the lines of we gather the who to what, to do what, and so that. So, and here's another example in there, which is a little bit simpler than the one I've just showed you. Okay, And oh yeah, sorry, this is the one over here I put in there earlier on. Okay, so think about that. I want you to think about that in any organization you're involved with. It could be, it also could be called a mission statement as well. But particularly, I want you to think about what is the transformation that somebody does when they come and become a member of your club. If you can't write that down, why should anybody become a member of your club? Thoughts, anybody? Yes, no? All right, put something in the chat so that that way I know I'm getting there. Just a little, one of the things on there that Andrew is putting in there is about, what was it? Public speaking secrets, job skills, leader. Yeah, true. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for that. Jim says yes. Fantastic. Okay, that's great. I'm not going to go through too much detail. Okay, these are examples of type of communities. I'm going to show you a little bit of the software. Okay. But look, one of the things about the onboarding was, look, right here. It's really important to take people on a journey. Okay. You have an onboarding process. You have a welcome. Communities now, because of the technology, you can have gamification. Does anybody not know what gamification is? Gamification. Okay, so some of you are shaking your head. All right. So what happens is with communities, one of the things you can do, in fact, I'll show you an example. You have a leaderboard, and the more engaged and involved you are in the community, you get points. And then there's a leaderboard, and someone like me is very competitive, and I want to be at the top of the leaderboard. Well, I usually don't get there with these kind of things because it takes a lot. But it is good because it shows how engaged you are. So, for example, in your Facebook group for the club, you know who the people are who often post or say, put likes in there or put comments in there, things like that. But then all it is an indication. And as you get a bigger community, this is a good way to interact and so on. And also, in order to, you see somebody's comment, you can just like it. If you like it, you don't have to, but that's a good idea. For example, I'm just going to bring up a particular community on here. And so in this case, I'll just log into it. Circle is the platform that I would recommend to most people these days. And what this is it's fabulous. And this is what I'm putting my community on. And so, for example, just look at the layout. This is the feed. So these are the latest posts. It's giving you information. It's giving you the upcoming events. It's got trending posts on here, all sorts of information. And leaderboard. Okay, let's have a look at the leaderboard. Okay, so I've got 1 point, which means I've made probably one comment, and one person's probably liked it. So probably I've not really been involved in this community too much at the moment to actually put in there. But for example, in the last 7 days, Jason has got 162 points. Shannon has got 83 points. You get the idea. That's the leaderboard. But what about the last month? And Jason again, top with 301, and Shannon again with 2. And one of the things about this community, the Circle community, is that this is the community of people who build their community on Circle, right? So they want to really encourage you. So, and what they'll do is, when you reach certain different levels, they actually give you lots of free stuff, which is so cool. Right? For example, it could be membership, it could be access to something, it could be vouchers in the post for something, it could be access, come along and meet us at our headquarters in the summer, and we'll have a party, right? So there's a number of different things that you can do with that, and gamification is a great way. Now, from a Toastmasters point of view, you must have done this in different clubs. Said, hey, if somebody does this, and we'll have a little competition, or we'll see, the winner of this. Or there are little skill quizzes you can run. There are little things that you can do to raise awareness and engagement. Because if somebody is involved in a community, if they're so moved by your community that they engage in it, they're more likely to stay. Okay, so not only are we wanting to have an onboarding process, but with great welcome, which I know OP has, and we saw that tonight as well. We have great onboarding process, and one of the things that we, when I was president, I know that the VPM always had a really fabulous structured way of doing things, which was great, and also about retention. We try to get people involved with things, get them in, we particularly wanted to not only get people to the meeting, but get them involved by speaking, doing a table topic. It's asking, hey, are you free for a role next week? Right? Things like that. So those things are so important at recruiting, retaining members, and also encouraging them to take leadership positions, because that's part of the Toastmasters promise, isn't it? Right? And it's important that we try to push that as well. All right. Now, in terms of the software, I'm going to share my screen again. So just bear with me 1 second. Right, here we go. Now, in terms of my screen, so one of the things I'm going to do is to show you an example community. All right, so this is another example community. I like this one because it's super cool. It has lots of cool videos on here, and it gives you an example of, again, it's got a leaderboard over here. I haven't looked at this before, and you can see you've got different people who are doing different things on here. You can have a look at the courses, and everything you see on the screen here is configurable. You can actually show whatever you want to show. You can organize things in whichever way you want if you create the community. Now, one of the things that, I don't want this video to run. So one of the cool things about this is it's got lots of videos. Sometimes people prefer words, reading, and they've got words as well. Fantastic. Now, the really important thing is, have a look at the left-hand side here, and just zoom in a little bit more. And you can see here, you've got different icons next to different things. So for example, if I go to announcements, it's got lots of posts in here with announcements, and I can read them. And I'm not a member of this community. Whereas something like this has got a little padlock on it. So it'll either not give me access, or it'll give me a lock screen, meaning it'll give me a message saying, oh, sign up to it. And here it is. You sign up to it right here. So it actually teases you or previews the community, and you can see what's in there and go, yeah, $19 a month. Well, I'll have some of that. I might do that. Yes. And so there are different things in here. That's fantastic, right? But take a look at this. One of the things I love about this is it's very comprehensive. But one of the things I hate about it, it's got too many things over here. All right? It's got too many things. Remember what I said about a smartphone and a dumb phone? I always give me a dumb phone. The ones with 10 numbers and a green button and a red button, because I want to keep things simple. So when I actually get people into my community, what I want to see is something along the lines of this. Oh, not that one. Right. Can you see on here that, for example, there's only four things that are on here on the left-hand side, and then there's going to be information along here, how to join, etc. You see the wall of love. Yeah, there you go, and so on. So you've got different things. I don't want to overwhelm somebody, because when it comes to technology, we always have to think of the person looking at this, and not everybody's au fait and comfortable with all sorts of things on the screen. It looks like the dashboard at the Starship Enterprise, doesn't it? And we don't know which button to press, and I don't want to do anything wrong. And it makes people anxious. It makes me anxious, and I'm actually reasonably savvy with the tech. I want to keep things simple. I want a dumb phone, because that way I want to raise people's confidence to be able to then go, and whenever they're ready, they can go and acquire the smartphone and then do more different things with it. And same with this. As soon as people sign up, there'll be more fields available to them. But they will have had a personal onboarding session with me live. Also, there'll be lots of videos and lots of instructions in text. So again, depends on how you learn to actually go and do various things with this. Now, the question you're asking is, hang on a minute, why should I go and get something like this when I've got Facebook? Okay, very good question. And really good too, because the treasurer will say, hang on, we don't have a budget for this. Well, okay, yes, you don't. What you can do is you can get a cut down version of this, but still it's a certain amount of cash. The problem with Facebook is it's distracting. So therefore, my simple advice is that, I run some Facebook groups for some of the communities I work with and some of my clients, and it's nuts. For my own personal use, I don't go into Facebook much anymore. Sorry, Jim, I miss your jokes. Because it does my head in because of all the distractions and things. You saw what I've got on here. This is my dumb phone. I don't want a smartphone. I don't want Facebook throwing ads at me with soccer videos with music or with videos of cats jumping up and down or whatever it is. I want a quiet life. I want something simple and clear to work with. Now, this is the dichotomy. This is what you have to answer as a club. Can you find somewhere which is simple for people to interact? Usually, we go with the WhatsApp route. I know we did with online presenters when I was here. What other things would you suggest? So Andrew's saying $100 a month for Kajabi. Actually, the cut down version of that is a little bit cheaper than that, actually. They've changed their business model over the last year. And I'll talk, in fact, that's a good time to talk about this, actually. So let me just pull it. Look, for a Toastmasters club, it may not be possible to get something like this. Circle, for example, is the cut down version for 10 spaces, 10 items on the left-hand side there, is $49 a month, right? But you weigh that up with the control you have in terms of the portal that you're creating. Now, David, I know, is big into this field. He may have an alternative for you and so on. The biggest thing for me is I want to avoid Facebook. So sorry, I don't want it like that. Or find something else where you can engage people with. I work for all my Toastmaster groups. WhatsApp is usually really good, but to be honest with you, I want to be able to actually, do other things, and software like this will help you. Now, let me talk about the three tools. You've seen a little bit of Circle, right? And you can actually go and exchange videos. You can have spaces where you can chat, spaces where you can post, spaces where only admins can post, things like that. There's all sorts of things in there that you can do. And it's the same for Kajabi and School. The differences are Circle itself is entrenched in the community platform industry as such for a number of years. The founders actually started this up, and I believe they came from Teachable, which is another great product as well. And what they did was they created this as a kind of like a really strong community, and it is very, very strong right now. It's specifically made for communities, and hence that's why I went into it. Now, Kajabi is fabulous. Kajabi has got the ability to create new websites and landing pages and funnels and email marketing. And Circle's got email marketing now as well. It's got a marketing hub. It's fabulous as well. But Kajabi is really good. But because I've got access to creating websites and funnels and things already, that wasn't such a big deal for me. I wanted the best community building platform there was, and that's why I chose Circle. So that's the difference between Kajabi and Circle. School is relatively new. It was founded probably about 3 or 4 years ago, but it's been big in the news. I bet you've seen it on YouTube or other social media because Alex Hormozi, yeah, we've heard of Alex. He's gone and backed it over the last 12 months, and he's putting it out there all the time. I see him all the time on my feed. And School is very good for quick smash and grab Gen Z type of engagement, which I know I don't look it, but I'm not Gen Z. So I belong to a couple of communities in School, and it is good what they have, but it's not got the depth or the longevity that Circle has. So anyway, that's my simple analysis of the 3 tools. All right. Now, normally on the longer session, I normally do a bigger demo of the 3, but right now we are running out of time. David, can you tell me how many minutes I've had, please?
You're coming up on 40 minutes, 38 right now.
Okay, all right, fabulous. Okay, no, we're on schedule. Fantastic. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do, we have time for questions, so please make sure you have some questions for me. I don't want you to trip me up, but it'll be fun for you all to do that. So I'm happy with that. It's okay. I'm amongst friends, so it's fine. Let me just go through the last couple of pages of this handout because it is in front of you. I'm just going to go through and show you a couple of things on here. This particular page has got links to the 3 platforms that I've mentioned, and you can go in and have a trial with each of them. Okay. Fabulous, no problem at all. And one of the things I'm doing actually, those people who actually go through my system are, I can actually help people with either mentoring them or coaching them or helping them in other ways as well. But again, you can get in touch with me if you're interested, either for your Toastmasters club or outside of Toastmasters as well. Now, the other thing is, oh yeah, so on my website, which I showed you earlier, which the site is here, if you're interested in what I'm up to, my latest project, just sign up for this and I'll send you some info, okay? That's the only thing I want as a call to action for you today. Sign up for this and let me know. And even if you just want to keep in touch or whatever it is, and also, if you're interested, if you're able to, just send me a testimonial. It'd be fabulous to have that. Thank you so much. And one of the things that I want you to do, think about what we talked about. Think about the key lessons or the key takeaways from this, which is the idea that before you go out looking for people, work out who you are as a club. Work out the type of clientele, the type of ideal client that you have. For example, in marketing, for example, with the avatar, I actually have ideal client avatar, right? Her name is Sarah. She's 51 years old. She lives in the Greater Manchester area. She's a mother and wife. She's looking. She works or has a small business, but she's looking ahead and thinking, there isn't enough time to exchange time for money for the goals that I want for my family and myself. They're looking for a change. They're looking for financial freedom. They're looking to be able to pay hospital bills. They're looking to pay the university fees. I mean, huge over here in the UK, and I'm sure it is where you are as well. There's a number of reasons why this person wants this, but they don't understand the tech. It's all too much for them. What I do is I give confidence to people to be able to try stuff, to have a sandpit, and I run office hours every week to go and help people, and they can ask me questions. Now, that's my ideal client. And what I've said to you is, hey, I want somebody to feel safe in my community, to be able to ask questions, to be able to help raise their hand, and somebody's there to help. Okay, even if I can't help, I'll find them somebody who can. That's the idea. That's my ideal client. Who's your ideal client in your business, or who's your ideal member in your Toastmasters club? Write it down. Okay. Then when they come along, what are you going to do to encourage them to join? Because they don't just come up and say, oh, I like you, you're going to join. You've got to go and ask them. You've got to go and find out why they're coming, right? Why are they here? Because if they're here for the wrong reasons, they may not fit your membership style. You may want to refer them to another club, or say, hey, you know what? Perhaps the Toastmasters isn't for you. What you really want is XYZ. Okay, so there's a number of things that you can do with that. Then when they do join, onboarding process, settling in period, how you're getting on, and engagement, connections, get them involved, get them feel as though, yeah, I feel good about interacting with somebody, not just on the night of the meeting, but during the rest of the week as well. Now, I know everybody's busy, but just spend 5 minutes a day sending a couple of messages on your preferred mode of communication in order to ask a question or answer a question or check with somebody or offer to do something for somebody. Yeah. Don't assume anybody knows that, oh yeah, well, I'm here, but no, nobody, people may not know. Just reach out to people and connect, because ultimately, although we have all of this whiz-bang smartphones to connect with people, we don't use them to connect with people. We type to people, don't we? And so, and just typing them is okay, but there are other ways you can connect with them as well. Run little groups. Say, hey, I'm doing a session on Canva. If anybody's interested, come along for Canva 101. Okay, so things like that. So I know that, for example, in OP, you did tech tips and so on with fabulous, great, brilliant. And those are the kind of things. And then just have little offshoots, speakathons and things like this. Yeah? Now, everything else you can ask me questions about. The biggest thing is think about it, get your mindset right, and then take action. But plan it out, then take action. That's the main way to go and get to where your goals are. What's your goals? To have 30 members or 50 members or 100 members or 12 members? It depends on your club, doesn't it? With that, I'd like to thank you for your attention, and let's take some questions.
Hi, Nick, again. Well, thank you very much for your presentation. And there were quite a few questions in the chat. Okay. I was wondering if I should read them out, so we'll let the audience ask questions straight away. What would you prefer?
Whatever is quickest, I'm cool with that.
Oh, well, the quickest, the simplest, right? So the brick smartphone, question number one. It was from Jenny Laidlaw, our club, right? So Vice President of Education. With the changes in club and the situation of the Toastmasters experience, how can a club differentiate itself?
To change itself.
Yeah, so what to do? Differentiate itself. What to do? I'll just post your question in the chat.
Okay.
Again.
Yes. So how do you differentiate? So it's his marketing 101, isn't it? It's like saying, well, I want to set up a bookshop, and then somebody says to you, "There's already a bookshop over there." So how do you be different? Well, first of all, you go through this exercise of who you are, what you want to be, and what type of people you want. Maybe the bookshop is for children and you want one for adults. Maybe it's a bookshop for there's so many different things. You're never going to create the same bookshop as somebody else. You're never going to have the same Toastmasters club as anybody else. You have to just be honest with yourselves and say, right, what is it that we're really good at? What is it that we're passionate about? And I speak on this in terms of some of the content I put into the training pack as well. It's about your passion. It's about what drives you. It's about what gets you up in the morning. Now, when it comes to a Toastmasters club, And I think the question was, how to change certain things. Then one of the things I have to actually mention is that I'm not saying anything really new to anybody here. I'm just saying it in my way. Because, for example, one of the first things I learned when I joined Toastmasters was the idea of the moments of truth, right? You know, the exercises that you'd go through, the moments of truth, and you go and do that. If some of you may have joined when Pathways has come along, and maybe you don't know what moments of truth and those kind of activities are, go and find out. It's really important because those exercises were there for a reason. Much smarter people than I have gone and created those kind of things. All right, but certainly find out who you are, find out where you want to go, find out who you want to go with you, and then take the steps to go and identify how to attract those people to your meetings. Then what is it going to take for them to go and join? Yes, it's a nice club, but do they see themselves joining your club? Is there enough excitement around? Are you organized in your meetings? Are you running around after the start time, still trying to allocate roles as what's happened in some brick and mortar clubs that I've attended? So those are the really important things, and I'm sure those experienced Toastmasters in the audience will agree with me. Moments of truth and those kind of activities are very, very important. I hope that answers your question, Joni.
Thank you, Nick. I'll just get straight to the next brick, smart mobile phone, and it's from our new member, Mahfazur Rahman. How do you inspire the world when we're in a social media crisis? How do you inspire the world when you are in a social media crisis?
Mahfazur, great to see you again. We are. Are we in a crisis? Really? If you're in a crisis and social media has taken over you, whatever, guess what? Right? It doesn't matter what technology is on here. You're the one with the finger on the button to switch it off and on. Okay? There's no crisis. You have different tools by which to communicate with people, and that communication may take different forms. And one of the things that I'm talking about is the idea of creating a community where people interact in a certain way, which is different from the online Toastmasters meeting, but it's asynchronous communication, which means that you could be anywhere in the world and you can chat with somebody and have the same conversation, but a few hours apart. And we've done this before because, Mahfazur, I know, because we're part of digital communicators as well and other things. So one of the key things is there's always a positive spin on it. Glass is always half full. That's the way I would approach things. Does that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you're looking for, Mahfazur. If you want to unmute yourself, please tell me either I've answered your question or please give me a follow-up.
Nick, good to see you, and thanks for coming in, and good to connect with you after a long time. I think last time I connected with you about 6 months ago. I happened to be sitting in waiting for my next plane. Thank you so much. And yeah, so when I'm in crisis, definitely with a lot of distraction happening, right? But we still have the community to inspire, and that's exactly what you're doing. And thank you for joining, and thank you for chiming in. And I definitely learned a lot from you, and I'm looking forward to learning from you again.
Yeah, thank you, Mahfazur. But you saw the differences between the two circle communities. One had about 57 different places to look at, and it was overwhelming for me. And I'm in this industry. But the other one, and what I want to do is to show people just 3, 4, or 5 items. I want to keep things simple. And so the easiest way in your club to do is for example, when a new member joins, you don't sort of get you don't give them everything all on day one, do you? You space things out, you see how they go. You don't say, can you book your 10 speeches, please, you know, for in the next few weeks? Or can you do, you know, you've got to talk to them. You've got to keep things simple so that they feel confident, they ease into it. And then it's up to them and their ambition as to where to go. Okay? Thanks very much for the question. Appreciate it. Andre, next question, please.
Nick, I have a question from David Carr. What's your theory? Hold on a sec. Here. What's your theory about why Toastmasters as a whole seems to be struggling to attract or retain members?
Oh,
what's your
no.
conspiracy theory, I would add, or just a theory about why Toastmasters are struggling to attract or retain members?
Oh, I absolutely am going to trigger a few people now. So if you're of the faint of heart, just mute me for a few minutes.
Finally, Nick, I was waiting for it.
Look, I'll give you an example, right? I mentioned earlier on that in my club, and Andre knows this club, Warrington Toastmasters, right? And you know, he's been there before. And you know, the people are great and everything, but then what happens is this idea of, oh, don't worry about the leadership bit, right? For example, nobody does that. Nobody wants that. You know, it's just we're just a speaking club. Right? So that kind of lack of ambition, that kind of message that is given to people saying, just literally, even if it's you know, committee minutes, or for example, the training that you do in TLIs or in the club officer training, just do what you did last year. It's fine. I think that's absolutely freaking disgusting. Sorry, it's challenging. I made Jim laugh. It's challenging. The reason is that because you're parroting what somebody did the year before, or possibly 10 years ago, you're not learning anything, but especially your audience is not learning anything. So why do it? This place is a great place to go and learn and try things out. And, you know, we win or we learn, right? And we learn by doing. So one of the things that I saw in the number of clubs that I belong to, the attitude of some members, it was very negative. But then there wasn't the leadership around to actually go and make things right. Because, oh, we're a volunteer organization. And there was this cooperative type of thing where, oh, nobody really is in charge, and oh, well, they do what they want, and that kind of attitude. Now, look at it this way. If you're a cafe, you're interested in getting people through the door. You want to make your cafe look busy. You want to make your breakfasts and lunches the most amazing things that people try. You want to make it the best that you can. Well, why not do that with the Toastmasters Club? Because with a little bit of effort, with a little bit of leadership, with a little bit of responsibility and holding people to account, you can achieve whatever you set out to achieve, as long as the aims of the goals are smart, right? So why not go and do it? And that's what we did with VTM, with the VCon, with the other activities that I did. I mean, another example, in my district, when it was COVID, the leadership didn't do anything. I was an area director, and I was like waiting for, and I was saying, you should be doing this, and you should be doing this, and you should. Nobody was listening to me, and so I said, screw it. I'm just sorry. I literally said, right, I'm going to run, before they even announced it, I said, right, my contest is going online. I'm going to train my competitors on how to proceed and how to go and present and look into the camera. Don't look at the screen. Things like this. And then I said, right, I'm running it. And I went and ran another 1,000 more contests and trained so many people. I not only was instrumental in District 91, as well as my home district of 71, They came to me and said, "Hey, Nick, can you run the content?" But they gave me very little notice, but I still pulled it off. Also, I set up a Zoom academy for District 71 and 91 to train people. And we trained over 200 people in a lot of skills to actually go and help their clubs. But more importantly, we developed those people. There's a number of different activities I'm involved with. But you know what? All it takes is a bit of ambition, a little bit of vision, and lots of hard work. That's it. Thank you for your question, David.
Nick, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
In all those years of your career as a leader and communicator and educator as well, can you think of any mistakes that cost you personally dearly? So the most valuable mistakes or the most expensive mistakes you have made throughout all those years, if you could share them with us, please.
Sorry, in what context? In Toastmasters?
In community building.
In?
Community building context.
A lot of the stuff that I showed you today, a lot of the information and so on has been done with a lot of investment in myself in terms of training, joining communities, learning by doing. But I wouldn't call that a waste. The one thing I do regret, though, is that I'm very proud of what I did during COVID and getting thousands of people up and running. And the people weren't running contests. I got them into it, got people trained up, we literally did every weekend. I would have up to 4 contests, sometimes 5 that I was running, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we did a lot of it even during the week in the evenings. The only one regret that I have out of all of the thousands of hours that I put in was the fact that I neglected the time with my kids. And what I realized was that they needed me more than they were saying and I thought. That was the one thing. Because when you're good at something and when you know it's the right thing and when you fight against somebody and when you have the vision and you say, right, yes, I have the answer, then you can't say, well, I'm only going to give you half the answer because the rest of it I'm too busy. So I went all in. But, we win and we learn, right? So that's the only thing. My kids, I think they needed me more than perhaps some Toastmasters did.
Thank you, Nick.
Are there any other? Sorry, I can't see the chat properly. But are there any other questions?
Yes, there are a few more questions from, again, Joni Laidlaw. I think she's the most active listener. And
She said she had lots of questions.
Okay, right. So it's just that she put quite a few questions. Just one of them is, how do you keep members motivated?
Again, it's look, all the stuff is there with the moments of truth and all of those kind of things, and it's about people, the officers taking. Sorry, okay, so leaders inspire their fellow officers and the members to motivate themselves. Right, so I wrote that down, didn't I? To motivate. So it's not for us to go and do everything for the members. It's for us to actually give opportunities for members and then work out. And again, it's a question of psychology, isn't it? How do you encourage people that A, this is a good activity, B, this is beneficial to them, and C, they will gain from it, and the club will as well, and whatever activity it is. So you've got to go and think of it from that point of view. So rather than one of the good ways to do that is to actually look at the end result or the outcome that you're looking for, and then work backwards to create an activity or a plan of what you're going to do with it. For example, speechcraft. And you say, well, some people are motivated by the fact that if you run Speechcraft, then it helps you towards your DTM. Some people are motivated by the fact that you can actually go and help children and adults go and speak for the first time. Now, there's two different arguments there, isn't there? But what you need to do is to work out what this particular member is motivated by. So therefore, guess what? You have to know people. You have to talk to people. You have to, have relationships with your people in your club. And that takes time, effort on both sides. Does that make sense? The closer you are together as a club, the more you'll be able to achieve with even a few members. And again, it's not me. You've all seen this. You all are members of clubs where this kind of thing happens. Any more questions?
I think that's all the questions we have time for tonight. So Nick, is there a way people can reach out to you to get the rest of the questions answered?
Yeah, absolutely. So look on the training pack. If you don't have it, just let me know in the chat. We'll put it, or somebody will put it in there. My email address is on there. There's a way to contact me. Just let me know what you need. And if you've got any other questions or requests, I'll be happy to entertain. No problem at all. And if, for example, one of the things one of the things I mentioned was the AI tools, and in my district a few weeks before Christmas, I actually ran an event to show people how to actually use ChatGPT to go and help you with marketing the club, with creating email copy, creating landing page, things like that. So if anybody's interested in me coming along to their district or division, let me know. I'm happy to do that. Thanks.
Well, Nick, you didn't disappoint. I want to thank you for sharing your time and your talent with us. Everybody, open your mics and give Nick a big round of applause.
Sure. Wonderful to have you back, Nick.
Thank you.
Even
Thank
if
you
it's
so
just for
much
one night.
for the
Thank
invite.
you. Thank you very much.
So now that
Thanks for
looks
staying
like
up late.
it's a wrap for another meeting, and I just wanted to give you a few announcements. February and March are Talk Up Toastmasters. We're trying to get an additional 5 members in the club, and for that we get some discounts with Toastmasters International. Now VPE Joni has mentioned that we need some level 1s and level 2s towards our goals. So if you are thinking about what to do next, start a new path and get a level 1 or 2 done, and that would help us out immensely. One final request is to go in and sign up for rules in advance, because you should be planning out what you're going to do so that you hit your goals in a timely manner. So think about it. It helps us a lot to stay organized. Before we part ways, I'm going to give you one more Martin Luther King Jr. quote to contemplate. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Thank you again for joining us, and I wish you lots of love. And before we go, I'd like to just talk to our guests to see what they thought of our meeting tonight. So let me see.